Hello, hello, and I told you I would be back. Now, I want to ask you a question today. What do you want? There's a big choice out there since lockdown has happened, in the educational sphere anyway. We now have ways of putting together our children's education in a way that solves the issue for us. What we have to decide is what is best for us, because that's the only way forward, really, isn't it? There's education possibilities out there, but they're not all created equally, and there's no such thing as a one size fits all. So I put out a post earlier today on Facebook and I said, what do you want? I'll answer these questions later. And a few questions have come in, which I will address. But I want us to be very clear on what we're doing. We're not knocking any one system over another. That would be wrong. What we are doing is trying to get a good measure of what exactly we want to achieve and where to look for the help to achieve it. So what we want to achieve, where to look for that help. Right. So some of the answers or the comments on the posts that came in were a lifetime type of education would be desirable, one that doesn't necessarily focus on the academics, but focuses on what skills are needed for life. That would be good, wouldn't it? Because as we all know, it's not necessarily offered on an equal basis across the education opportunities in any country. Another one that came in was that academics set up the child for the future, but then life skills are needed. Again, questionable. Not everybody is good at exams. So not everybody would be set up by an academic system. But let me address some of the questions. Right. First question was, surely the academic route is best. I say it again, not everybody is good at undertaking exams. Some people are absolutely brilliant speakers, absolutely brilliant doers, but not brilliant at sitting down in a controlled environment and churning out information in different forms for hours on end. That doesn't make them a bad person, but at the same time, we have to look at the other side of it. There's a system in place that sort of says that if you have passed exams, then in some way you are more superior. Maybe, but there's people out there who are very just good at passing exams, but not very good at communicating, not very good at collaborating, not very good at actually problem solving. They just know how to pass exams. So in answer to that first question, surely the academic route is best? The answer would be best for what? It depends on what you're trying to achieve. But moving on. How can a non-exam route benefit my child? If your child doesn't enjoy taking exams, then why would you put them through the stress of taking exams? It involves a conversation here, because what you need to understand is where the problem lies with the academic route. If they just do not fit in with that route, then the non-academic route will absolutely benefit your child, because it will help them boost their self-esteem, boost their confidence, engage them well with the exam system, and most of all, motivate them for the rest of their life. Motivate them that they're being listened to and that their desires matter as well as anybody else's, because at the end of the day, they have to live the life, don't they? It's all food for thought. It's all about what do we actually want to achieve here. Now, I'll have another question which is more specific. My child is quite anxious about school, and it's been made worse after lockdown. How do I help her? Well, this is understandable because school can be quite a daunting place to be for some children who are naturally anxious. With the increased focus on safety, so for example, with my son's school, there's an element of leaving the child at the gate instead of waiting with them to go into the class. That would cause an element of anxiety and it would not start the day well. However, you can reassure them that they will be okay. You can reassure them and notify their school that it's okay to be anxious. They don't have to put on a show to be okay. What they have to do is be happy. If they're happy, plenty of studies have shown this. So many, I couldn't even read them all out. If the mind is happy, the child will thrive. I'll repeat that. If the mind is happy, the child will thrive. An anxious child will not thrive because they're anxious. It's up to us and up to the school to ensure that all points are put in place to ensure that that child is made happier within the environment. And that will not depend on, but it's the same for every single child and every single school, because the number of anxious children will be increasing. There are new rules in place, and to a large extent, a lot of the touchy-feeliness, a lot of the personalisation of schools will have changed. If that's changed, the child's going to feel it and they have to know it's not about them and it's not forever, but it has to be that way now. Last question that I have for you today is there any benefit to the increased use of technology in education? Now, this is one of my favourites because the use of technology has actually increased in the world. We use it for communication, we use it to find out information, we use it in so many ways that it would be difficult to say there's no benefit. There's huge benefits to using education. We can now deliver lessons online so that if there is another lockdown, no learning needs to be lost. There's now platforms that can be used to make sure that learning is delivered. There's now Zoom lessons so that, and other platforms, of course, in which teachers can maintain a contact with their students. There's so many, students can actually become immersed in lessons, in technology lessons. There's new innovations out there which are really developing that idea of immersing students in lessons to increase motivation. But that has to be the biggest win. With a technology-based curriculum, we can't help but increase the motivation and engagement of students because that is one of their key ways of engaging with the world nowadays. They enjoy it. It's like an edutainment. I'm not saying to you that your child should play games all day long. Oh, no, no, no. But just imagine what they could learn just by engaging with a virtual platform. So I ask you again, what do you want for your child's education? What's important to you? It's not something that you could actually just come out with right now, but it's something that you should actually give a lot of thought to, because if the possibilities and the choice are there, it would be wrong not to take them. We can't just rely on the system that is and saying to ourselves, well, if it ain't broke, because it is broke. We know the system is broken. We know there are opportunities out there. We just need to decide what is best for us. Okay? Is it going through the traditional system? Is it seeking an alternative system? Is it a hybrid, in which case you go to the traditional system and use a tutor, or go through the traditional system but have an element of virtual learning involved? There are so many different options that are out there that you should, and you owe it to yourself to investigate them more. Something to think about, isn't it? I'm even going through this process at the moment. I'm thinking about which system is best for my child, but I'm basing it purely on my child's personality. He loves to learn, but can I improve his learning? Oh yes, definitely. I can improve the whole experience for him, and I can help motivate him, and I can keep him engaged. So I owe it to him to actually go through this process. If I can help you with this, drop me a message below or DM me, leave a comment, do whatever you can to make sure that you don't miss this opportunity to actually challenge what is happening in the world, challenge the education that you're giving your child, which should be an enlightening experience. Remember that. Is your child enlightened, or do they wake up and think, I have to go to school again? Which one is it? Be honest. Could you do better? Let me know, and I'll see you again soon.